All right, guys, welcome to Blake's Takes. And I think you already know what time it is. It's Loki time. That's right. Episode 6, season finale, just dropped yesterday. And I'm here to tell you why this might just be the greatest thing that the MCU has done, period. Period. All right? Not just greatest Marvel show, which it is, but period. I mean, this has got to be the boldest thing that Marvel has been able to pull off. I can't even. Oh man. So let me get into it. First of all, the acting in it was amazing. Tom Hiddleston was really able to showcase his talents in this. You know, he's been playing this character for the better part of 10 years now. And my God, I did not know that I needed this performance from Tom Hiddleston. I mean, he just absolutely killed it. Owen Wilson, are you kidding me? This is a role that I did not know I needed from Owen Wilson. I mean, his portrayal as Mobius was great. And his on-screen chemistry with Tom Hiddleston right from episode 1 was amazing. Honestly, all the actors in this show killed it. I thought the acting was more believable than it was in WandaVision. Not to say, WandaVision came in a close second for me because that was a great show. But every character in Loki was just so believable, from, the Hunters, Hunter B-52, to Casey and the TVA, to classic Loki. Richard E. Grant did an amazing job at pulling, the amount of screen time that he had, he made his presence there. It was amazing to see a classic Loki and all the different kind of Lokis, even the kid Loki, they all just really pulled it off. And of course, we cannot forget Sofia Di Martino as Sylvie. I mean, Jesus Christ, all the chemistries, it just felt organic, on screen, amazing job. So speaking of these characters, and I thought this show had great character building, especially with Loki. We dive deeper into Loki's character and how he thinks and his views on everything. And right off from the bat with episode 1, it gets you hooked in. And at the end of the episode, we really see the emotions come out of Loki. And I mean, he quoted himself. He says himself, that this evil act, he's like, it's part of an illusion, the cruel, elaborate trick conjured by the weak to inspire fear. And I thought that was probably the most powerful line in the whole series, and especially during that episode as well, when he's watching his whole life up on the screen, going through a dark world and his mother and Ragnarok, and seeing the relationship and how it progresses with his brother. It makes him happy because deep down he knows that that's all the family that he has. He has no one else besides them. And to see him, that relationship with Thor progress, it makes him happy. And to ultimately then see, how he dies trying to protect the Asgardians from Thanos, it just really showed a deeper character into Loki, and I thought it was exactly what we needed. And the show did a great job of showing us what really Loki is about. That's who he thinks all he has until he meets Mobius, and we see the relationship that those two have with each other, and how, at the end, when in the season finale, or what was it, season finale, or in episode 5, when Mobius is going to go back to the TVA and try to figure out what the hell is going on there, and they say goodbye to each other, and Mobius sticks out his hand for a handshake, and Loki's like, no, bring it in, give me a hug. And he's like, thank you, my friend. I thought that was a really touching moment. The relationship that they had on screen was just amazing, because Loki, he's finally realizing how important, these friendships are with, the people that come across his life. I mean, Even the relationship that he builds with Sylvie, it's something totally different that we've never seen from Loki before. We never have had a love story in connection to Loki, so it was really amazing to see how they wanted to give us that story for the first time. And I thought Tom Hiddleston and Sofia Di Martino had great chemistry on screen, and you were really rooting for them to be together in the end. We don't get that because she has some different plans, but that was also the first time we've really seen Loki fully invested into someone, and not wanting to lie to her, not wanting to deceive her. Like, he was fully invested, and just completely gets side blinded, betrayed, and that you could see that took a toll on him in the season finale. That just shook him up, and that's the first time that he's been really on that side of the spectrum of just being betrayed and lied to like that. And I'm not gonna say that all of the emotions that she had for Loki were fake, because I think they were real, but in the end she couldn't change, and she had her own goals and her own path that she needed to follow, her own destiny, and Loki just wasn't a part of that. She didn't want to change that, and now she really opened up the whole MCU. This show, it puts the MCU into a whole nother perspective. It gives you a whole nother view on everything that we've seen up until this point. Basically with Kang the Conqueror planning all of these events out, he knew how all this shit was gonna happen. And another perspective of when Loki first arrives at the TVA, and first of all, he can't use any of his magic there. He can't use the Tesseract there. He can't use any, Infinity Stones. And the best part to me was when he opens that drawer in like the, community office area that he sees Casey in, and he opens his drawer to get the Tesseract back, and he sees just countless Infinity Stones in that drawer, and he's like, "What? How do you have these?" He's like, "Oh, we actually got a lot of those. Some people use them as paperweights." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Is this the greatest power in the universe?" Yeah. It just completely blows you away with the different perspective that you now have on everything we've seen from this point in the MCU. And, this was the first show to finally officially give us the multiverse. They teased it with us in Spider-Man Far From Home, when you had Mysterio saying he was from an alternate universe, and we were like, oh shit. But, tricked us with that. He was not from another universe. And then they teased us with it in WandaVision when in one of the episodes they have Evan Peters at the door as Wanda's brother, Pietro. And obviously we know Evan Peters plays Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, and obviously another actor plays Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron. So we were like, oh shit, is it happening? Are we crossing universes again? And then in the second to last episode, we see that Agatha was just using her powers to trigger once again. So nope, they do not give us a multiverse once again. We were teased with it. And finally, this officially kickstarts. It just opens the floodgates for the entire phase 4. And my God, these waters are going to be running fucking fast through these floodgates. And not just from a storytelling perspective and acting as well, but the wardrobe and the set design in this fucking was beautiful. Just from the first glimpse of the TVA was absolutely gorgeous. And they said that the inspiration drew from Metropolis, that 1927 film, old film, if you haven't seen it, from 1980s to Blade Runner, and 2005's The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So it just fit the environment and the tone of the show so perfect. Don't get me started on the music. The music that was composed by Natalie Holt. I mean, my God, this was by far, to me, the most memorable score put together in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, by far. I mean, it fit the tone of the show so perfect. Composer Natalie Holt drew inspiration from the Moog synthesizer and the sounds that were used in Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange, which came out in like 1971, I believe. And I also love when they have Norwegian music or Norse music with Loki's and Thor's characters. You can hear it throughout, the Thor movies. And they use it once again in here. As we know, Loki and Thor are Norse mythology. So it's really great hearing some Norse themes behind them, as you can tell in the song Glorious Purpose on the score, where Loki is watching over his life in episode 1. I mean, it's just some great stuff. And the direction of this whole show put together beautifully. They were all the episodes were directed by Katie Heron, and it seemed to me like from looking her up that she hadn't, she had done a few episodes before on Netflix, on BBC, but nothing too crazy. And for her to just have this whole show in her hands, I mean, she did a great job. All right, so I got another opinion here. We got my roommate Berto, who is actually also the co-host of a podcast called Films from the Phantom Zone that he does with Arnaldo. So you can go check that out on any podcast if you want. What do you guys talk about on there?
We talk about just mostly old comic book movies, usually bad ones, and we decide whether or not they belong in the Phantom Zone or not.
I feel like everyone should watch a bad movie from time to time because it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It is fun watching a bad movie. But so Loki, I want to get your thoughts. Earlier in the video, I said that I think this is the boldest thing that Marvel has pulled off in the entire MCU.
Oh, so far for sure. A close second would probably be the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That was a huge risk for them,
Yeah.
but this was... Are we doing spoilers in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fact that they introduced a major villain in a TV show
Yeah.
that, maybe not everybody is watching.
Yeah, and I feel like not many people know about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll be nice and surprised when third Ant-Man comes out.
Yeah. I love Owen Wilson on it. We didn't get one wow though.
No, but still like a killer performance. Like
Yeah.
it still, because I know he's done serious roles before, but it still shocks me when I see how good of an actor he really is.
Yeah. Yeah, he really showed off his acting chops in this one because he's mainly in comedies, so we don't really get to see that acting from him.
Right.
What were also some other aspects of the show besides the acting and the characters? What other aspects that really got you hooked into this series, into the show?
Well, first off, the score is amazing.
Yeah.
Just the main theme, the score that happens throughout the show. My personal favorite part of the score was in the first episode when Loki's watching himself die.
Yes.
And the music slows down and gets almost creepy sounding.
Yes.
I loved that.
I was talking about that earlier. That one's called Glorious Purpose.
Okay.
Yeah, and I love too when we hear a Norwegian theme behind Loki or Thor's character, because we all know it's Norwegian mythology.
Right.
So it's this this kind of violin. I don't really know how to explain it, but you can tell it's Norwegian and it just fits it so well. But yeah, Glorious Purpose, when he's watching himself, it's just absolutely perfect.
That was a fantastic track.
Yeah.
And another thing I really liked about the series was the fact that it wasn't afraid to get weird.
No.
At all. It seems like they're finally allowing the MCU to just go all in on the weirdness, and we got a taste of that with WandaVision, but we really got it here.
Yeah. It seems like they're really stretching out to see how much they can get away with. They're totally switching up. Alligator Loki.
Yeah, and
that was funny.
It wasn't a joke. It was a character.
Yeah, and no one took the character jokingly either. Like, you took alligator Loki seriously in a way too.
Yeah, it's like, it's an alligator and we're fine with it. Loki
Yeah.
even says that. He's like, I'm disappointed to say it's not weird.
Yeah, exactly. And then also with him having this romance with himself. I mean, a different version of himself, Sylvie, but it is a female version of him. And it doesn't feel weird because, like, out of all the characters in the MCU, what better character, like, what other character loves himself more than Loki, a narcissist? Like,
right.
That fits so perfect with that. Making Loki bi, I guess. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that at all.
No, and if you know about, like, the character in Norse mythology, like, yeah, Loki does a lot of stuff like that. Like, gender means nothing to him.
No, because I feel like Loki himself, he's just, like, such a curious character. Like his curiosity is unlike other characters in the Marvel.
100% be bi-curious.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because, it's not something that was, like, forced or anything, too. It just kind of happened organically in the show. And if you kind of weren't paying attention close enough,
you wouldn't know.
It kind of blew over your head.
Yeah.
So I feel like it wasn't a big deal at all. And I don't know if people are upset about it, but they shouldn't be.
Yeah, there's not really anything there to be upset about.
Yeah, but definitely. So, rankings of your TV shows.
This one takes the top spot.
Yeah.
WandaVision second, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier third. That's not to say I didn't like Falcon and Winter Soldier, but
it was definitely more grounded than the other ones.
And I enjoy when the MCU gets weird. So
yeah, WandaVision was definitely like a close second. All right, well, that's our little visit from Berto. Don't forget to check out his podcast called Films from the Phantom Zone, where they review failed and forgotten comic book movies and decide if they should be among the people or in the Phantom Zone. So make sure to go check that out on your
wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah, wherever you get podcasts. Apple, Spotify, you know the deal.
YouTube.
Yeah. All right. We'll see Berto later. I'm sure he'll be on a few more episodes throughout.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, guys, final thoughts overall of the show. Best Marvel show we've seen yet. Boldest thing I think the MCU has pulled off. Really puts the whole MCU into another perspective. You get another view of just everything that's happened until now. And man, we have an exciting future for Phase 4. So buckle up and get ready, all right? Because it's going to come fast. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like if you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the show, and I'll see you next time on Blake's Takes.